Welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, November 26, 2024. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Many people experience trauma following vehicle accidents, according to Dr. Alicia Hull, a medical doctor with the Ministry of Health, during her presentation on motor vehicle-related injuries last week at a symposium held as part of Road Safety Week. Dr. Hull, who has worked at the Accident and Emergency Department at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital for nearly 13 years, revealed that 304 motor vehicle accident patients were recorded in 2023.
As we can see, from 2020, we had 328. I know it might be a bit difficult to see, right? And then in 2021 and 2022, it appeared that we were on the decline with our accident reported injuries. But then in 2023, we went up back to 304. So as you see, there's still work to be done in terms of motor vehicle associated injuries.
Dr. Hull emphasized the significant psychological impacts often experienced by individuals after an accident.
Anxiety. A lot of people don't realize it, but there are patients who have anxiety post-accidents, motor vehicle accidents. The survivors of vehicular accidents, they sometimes develop anxiety. They develop a fear of constant worrying. They get worried each time their children, their relatives, and their loved ones have to commute. And they themselves, just the idea of getting back behind the driver's wheel is unthinkable for them. Patients can also have sleeping disorders, and if left untreated, there's a very high probability that these psychological effects and injuries can progress to more serious cases, like major depressive disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, panic disorder, violent behavior, and I think we see it a lot, substance abuse.
Dr. Hall explained that the most common physical injuries from vehicle accidents include whiplash to the neck, but there are also cases of head and brain injuries. She noted that while seat belts can cause certain injuries, the benefits of wearing them far outweigh the risk associated with not using them.
So anytime you see someone with this thing called the seat belt sign, well, you know, sometimes you have the lap belt. This can indicate that the patient has a serious internal organ that was injured, like your liver, your spleen. So they can be problematic. But the benefits, according to the studies, of wearing a seat belt outweigh the risk of not wearing it. Take, for example, you riding in a vehicle. It comes to a sudden stop. You're not wearing a seat belt. You head straight out, head front through the windshield compared to this. And it's not always indicative of an internal injury, but once you see it, you have to check for it. Right? So in terms of your internal injuries, well, I spoke about the intra-abdominal injuries. The most commonly injured organs are your spleen, your liver, and the intestines.
General Manager of Century Insurance Services, Fidel Taylor, revealed that millions of dollars have been paid out in claims for motor vehicle accidents in recent years. Taylor, who is speaking at the Safety Week seminar, compared the early days of insurance when no claims were made to the current situation where claims have significantly increased due to the rise in vehicular accidents.
But today, we are paying checks every month, every year, for millions of dollars in claims. And we are here because we are serious about road safety. Yes, insurance will pay. And when we don't pay, it is because of a problem. If we don't pay, it's because you either breach your policy or we have a unsettled issue where two vehicles collided and they don't agree. So the matter will have to probably go to court. An investigation may have to take place for us to find, because the police don't tell you who's right from wrong. They just give you the measurements and they're gone.
Taylor stressed the importance of insuring one's vehicle, noting that the payouts varied greatly and this can become costly for both individuals and insurers.
Shield. Without insurance, you'll be out of pocket for repairs or medical bills. And listen to me. When people crash today, it's either you're badly wounded or you're dead. Most of the accidents today, they are total loss and serious bodily injuries. And medical expenses are not cheap. So you need to have it. With it, you are covered like a warm blanket on a chilly day, helping you to avoid unexpected expenses.
According to Taylor, there are various types of insurance available. He also highlighted that motor vehicle fatalities continue to rise, as reflected in the increasing number of claims being filed. Discrimination can be a key factor in the failure to achieve a just justice system, as emphasized during this week's Police on the Beat program titled Restorative Justice and its Importance to the Criminal Justice System. Devon Butte, Corporal of Police, highlighted that discrimination is one of the major shortcomings within the justice system in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The criminal justice system has been criticized for its systematic biases,
yes,
based on race, based on ethnicity, social economic status, and gender as well.
And these biases are across the board. Let's say the prosecution and the defense.
This is across the board, because if you look at there are some cases where, because, and I'm speaking more from an academic standpoint.
Yeah.
Some persons are more wealthy than others.
Right.
They would have the opportunity to hire some of the most qualified and, as we say, best lawyers within the state.
Mm-hmm.
And the poor man, because he is unable to do the same, and he goes into the court, and he might not be even able to represent himself. Mm-hmm. And sometimes this plays a role because of his financial status.
Yes.
So discrimination is one of the criticism, I should say, the
shortcomings or the pitfalls.
Shortcomings of the criminal justice system.
Corporal Brute went on to stress that access to justice is significantly impacted by discrimination, pointing out that marginalized groups often face unequal treatment and barriers to receiving fair legal processes. Also, access to justice.
Mm-hmm. We have seen it over and over that sometimes the wealthier individuals can afford the better, as I said before, the better legal representative, mm-hmm. creating a disparities in the outcomes compared to the integrity of the defendant, with reliance on the public on a public defender. But we don't have public defender, but we have the office of the DPP, and sometimes it is not to say that we are not competent. But sometimes, because of the resources that is been meted out with the wealthier individuals, sometimes the victim, sometimes are the weaker person in terms of financial standing might feel as if his case or he did not receive justice. In addition to discussing the impact of discrimination on access to justice, Corporal Brute also noted that the justice system is hindered by an over-reliance on punitive measures and delays in legal proceedings, both of which contribute to the system's inefficiency and perceived unfairness. The criminal justice system often focus on the punitive measures. This is where you're punishing the person.
Yes.
Like incarceration, rather than addressing the root cause of the crime.
Okay.
Also there is a delay delay, and in also there's a delay sometimes, and this delay comes from court backup logs. Delay in the court proceedings can prolong justice for victims and accused person as well. If you look at sometimes a man is on remand for sometimes over a year, a man is on remand and a man is on remand for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. A victim might be there waiting for justice sometimes for 2, 3 years and nothing has happened. So the delay within the system as well is one of the shortcomings of the criminal justice system.
The implementation of the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project, CARTIP, in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is progressing steadily. During today's face-to-face program on NBC Radio, Project Coordinator Winston George provided an update on the initiative, noting that over $30 million has been invested by the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the project. The goal is to streamline government operations, improve transparency, and enhance efficiency through the digitization of internal processes.
We had signed a contract for that, so we are in the process of implementation. We are doing the business process analysis among these different agencies. We are in the process of procuring the necessary hardware and software for all these agencies to implement that aspect. What we have also done is on the existing system, we have tested e-payments. That is debit and credit card payments. Yesterday we had a successful test of that. So it will allow citizens or businesses to make those sort of payments.
George also shared that work is currently underway on an updated tax information management system, which is expected to be fully operational by January 2025.
Now, in terms of tax, the tax information management system, we have recently signed a contract for the implementation of a new tax information management system, and this will allow for taxi filing, your payment of driver's license, and also motor vehicle licenses and so forth, and also allow you to make electronic payments. So come January, this will move fully into implementation. So that also is a major system.
The CARTIP project is part of a broader regional effort that includes similar digital transformations in 3 other members of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS, namely Dominica, Grenada, and St. Lucia. In more local news now, we hear that Sophia Hornby, the Chief Executive Officer of the Zero Hunger Fund, has emphasized the importance of food security for St. Vincent and the Grenadines and highlighted the need to ramp up food productivity in the country. Hornby was a guest on NBC Radio Face-to-Face program yesterday, where she spoke about the National Home and Community Garden Food Security Project, a collaborative effort between the Zero Hunger Trust Fund and the Ministry of Agriculture.
As in, we're going into the tourist season when we have a ramp-up population because we have more people staying in the hotels, we have more people coming in and demanding and increase the demand for food. But also we're going into the Christmas season when Vincentians cook. That's the core of what we do at Christmas time, you know that. So we needed to do something to make sure that persons have access to food, that our Christmas season and our persons are looking towards a Christmas that is somewhat normal after Hurricane Beryl. And that is why you need to make sure that everybody has access to food. And access is not only that it's there and available, but they can afford it.
During the interview, Hornby used the opportunity to encourage individuals to grow their own food, noting that it can help reduce food costs and alleviate some of the challenges people may face in accessing nutritious food.
To grow no matter what they have, or limited space or non-limited space they have. Now, because we have persons telling us, oh, we don't have backyards to grow. That's fine. We have asked some businesses for tires to help in the distribution to create spaces for people, create a tire pyramid for persons to grow their own food. let's recycle what we have. Your Coke bottles, your containers that you have now past their time. These are things that you can use to grow. The Taiwan mission is teaching us how to do vertical growing, creating grow walls so that persons who have limited space are still able to grow their own food.
With a focus on ramping up food production, Sophia Hornby-Beek, CEO of the Zero Hunger Fund, announced that starting in January next year, they hope to expand the school's backyard gardening program. Hornby-Beek noted that the backyard gardening initiative has been a successful one, helping to reduce food costs in school and providing students with valuable skills.
Only focusing on homes though. Home gardens is one component. We are focusing on schools. Schools right now we are not focusing on schools there. This is the time they're doing exams and so forth. But come January we'll be fast into schools for the schools to grow their own produce. One of the things we do at the Zero Hunger Trust Fund is that we support school feeding to about 17 primary schools in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We do this in the most vulnerable areas to make sure persons there have access to one meal every day, free of course, to the children. And we want to start with those schools, help them set up the school gardens. It also helps us because instead of giving them resources for fresh fruits and vegetables, they are now producing their own fresh fruits and vegetables.
Hornby-Beek also emphasized that while some secondary schools may already have agricultural programs, those that do not are encouraged to start one as part of the effort to promote local food production.
The secondary schools, we have been doing agriculture science program with some of them, and we want to encourage all of them to have agriculture science program. And even if you don't have an agriculture science program, have a garden. The tuck shop can utilize this. The food that you're preparing from other persons who are donating, like I know the Musty Charitable Fund support some of the programs and other organizations. You can get it from right there. So we're going to school.
A total of 33 restaurants participated in the inaugural Restaurant Week 2024. And while the event was deemed a success, there is still room for improvement. Enoch Bacchus, manager of Basil's Bar, offers several suggestions to the event organizers, including the inclusion of local vendors and the expansion of categories to recognize a broader range of workers in the restaurant industry here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
In the future, to see more bartenders coming forward with all this. This initiative should always be nurtured. We as managers, we should try to bring out the best in our staff. We should try to empower them to give each drink that they make a name that would go back with the foreigners, the locals, and everything. So when you see that person, you would say, this is the man with the passion fruit drink. This is the man with the rum punch. And this would be highlighted in such a way. In the future, it would be nice if we have the public more involved in the Restaurant Week. We have so many vendors that we purchase from. I haven't seen them coming forward for this week. And this is something I'm just putting out to the persons who has put this together. Let's involve the vendors a little bit more.
Isola Giddens, president of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Hotel and Tourism Association, acknowledged Bacchus's suggestions and promised that Restaurant Week 2025 will be even grander. Internationally acclaimed chef James Cochran, who has Vincentian roots, recently held a workshop with local chefs and expressed his admiration for the enthusiasm shown by the eager participants. Cochran, who was in St. Vincent and the Grenadines for Restaurant Week 2024, was accompanied by other renowned international chefs. Speaking at the closing ceremony of Restaurant Week on Saturday, Cochran expressed his gratitude to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for their warm hospitality and support during the event.
Some amazing chefs when I did a demo at Young Islands, and it was really because, I mean, we know goat over here and we basically put it in a stew, we do curried goat, correct? But I was like, to these young aspiring chefs, I was like, okay, I'm going to serve you goat, pink, medium rare. So the first that they gave me, they were pretty in shock. But over time they started to warm up, and it was just like, I think at one point I got quite emotional because they were writing down notes, taking ideas, seeing what they can do with it, and I was bringing some of my influences that I've learned from my time in London. And overall, FA and his wife have been absolute massive supports for State of Beachcombers. They've shown me around, introduced me to wonderful people, so I can't thank FA and his wife enough, and Beachcombers for all looking after us.
Cotron shared plans to return to St. Vincent and the Grenadines annually for Restaurant Week. The next Restaurant Week is scheduled for June 22nd to June 28th, 2025.
But yeah, I love this place, and I want to come back every year and hopefully inspire the young generation, and hopefully we can grow this country's economy, the agriculture, and showcase lovely produce, because you have the best soil in all of the Grenadine Islands. And it is the true Caribbean. I don't see any other Caribbean island like this. The people are so warming and loving. I mean, I won't stop. I'll carry on. I won't talk anymore. But I just love this country, and everyone's been so nice and so hospitable. And I just want to say thank you very much.
Restaurant Week 2024, held from November 17 to the 23rd, was celebrated under the theme A Taste of Vincy. Awards for Best Chef and other categories will be announced later this week. The National 9 Mornings Committee has announced a judging date for the 2024 Vinlec Community Lighting Competition from December 16 to the 20th. The competition will be judged in these categories: Best Lit Community, Best Lit House, Best Lit Garden, and Best Nativity Scene. The judging schedule is as follows. Zone 1, Monday, December 16th, for the Leeward side, Zone 2, Tuesday, December 17th, Windward, Zone 3, Wednesday, December 18th, Marico and Central areas, Zone 2, Thursday, December 19th, Kingstown and surrounding areas, Zone 5, Friday, December 20th for the Grenadines. The National 9 Mornings Committee says for persons interested in participating in this year's light-up competition for Best Garden and Best House, you are asked to fill out the registration form at the Department of Culture. The registration deadline is Friday, December 13th, 2024.